Hello everyone, welcome to Global Online. So as you know that we are discussing our unit number 5 financial management. This is our lecture number 3 on this unit, in which we are going to cover the dividend models and the dividend theories. This is also one of the 100% sure topics of the your exam point of view from the paper 2, both management and commerce. So watch the session very carefully. Before starting, there is an important information for you that the UGC NET exam June 2023 is very close now. So we are offering the revision crash course for June 2023 exam. This course is going to be most helpful for you because all the things are provided in very concise and point to point way and a comprehensive way, which will help you to gain your JRF. So if you take this course, you will get complete video lectures, complete syllabus notes, then you will get mock test, then you will get 2000 plus MCQ question bank, which covers the most expected, most repeated and PYQs with detailed explanation. Okay, this can be accessed on both laptops and mobiles. The biggest advantage of this course is if you take the paper 2 management course, you will get paper 1 totally free with all same facilities. Okay, so to join, download the Global Online app. The fees for this course is 10,000, but 60% discount is going on. It's available in 4,000 only. Okay, before, let me tell you how you can enroll. First, you will have to download a Global Online. When you will log in, you will see this home interface. In this home interface, click on the store button, type here UGC NET Management, and you can get the get this. After it will ask for the payment, and after payment you can access all the contents of both unit both the paper 1 and paper 2 of all the 20 units n number of times, whatever you want. So to contact, still you face any difficulty, you can contact on the given numbers. Let's begin with what is dividend theories. Directly going to the dividend theories or the dividend models. First of all, let's try to understand what is a dividend. First, if you break this word dividend, if you break it in parts, what will be it? Divide in the end, or divide at the end, we can say. Okay, so dividend is the what? Is the distribution of profit. Dividend is the what? When a company's part of profits is distributed to its shareholders, it is called as the dividend. A dividend is a distribution of a part of a company's earnings to a class of its shareholders. Means it will not be given to the stakeholders. Remember this point is very much important. अगर आप बोलते हो कि भाई सारे stakeholders को दोगे, नहीं, शेयर होल्डर्स को दोगे. और दैट इज आई टोल्ड यू डे बिफोर यस्टरडे इन आवर प्रीवियस लेक्चर व्हाट कि द डिविडेंड विल बी फर्स्ट paid to whom? To the preference shareholders, because they are the secondary. But the equity shareholders are the like the family members, like the members of our home house. They are not the guest, but the preference shareholders are the guests. So on a regular basis you will have to give dividend to them, but to equity shareholders, it's if the company some amount remains, from that portion, from that amount the dividend will be paid to the equity shareholders. The dividend determined by the board of directors of the company. Dividend basically what? It is a decision. A dividend decision we have seen in the first lecture, that it's a decision whether the company wants to pay dividend is based on the amount after tax profit. Now you may get confused, what is after tax profit? So let me show you here from where you can be work. First of all, what this come for? First of all, this come what? This EBIT. Okay, earning before interest and tax. After reducing the interest, you get EBT, earning before tax. Okay, then you get then we reduce the tax. Tax means we get earning after tax. Earning after tax we will now we will give the share dividend to the shareholders from this EAT, not directly from the EBIT. EBIT is our operating profit, but the EAT is the what? EAT is our after tax profit. This is what? This is our after tax profit. So after giving all the interest and payment taxes, all fulfilling all our liabilities, then we will give the amount from our residual amount. Okay. So this is the dividend will always be paid from the after tax earnings. Okay. Now we have some types of dividends like cash dividend, stock dividend, scrip dividend, property dividend, share repurchase and liquidation dividend. Let's understand the two main types of a dividend which are used by the company. One is the final dividend. Final dividend is the what? Final dividend is the dividend the company pays after the annual general meeting. Means every as per the company law, every company has an annual general meeting on regular yearly basis after the end of the relevant financial year. For example, the financial year 2022-2023 ended on 31st March 2023. This was the financial year. So at that time the company might have had a meeting. So they issue their financial statements, check that, and then they will announce the final dividend and paid after the company's total earnings of the year are known. Okay, here earnings will be first known to the known, and later on from that earning that dividend, final dividend will be paid. Then this is recommended by the company's board of directors. Final dividend are declared by the members of the annual general meeting. This is not much important. Let's see interim dividend. Interim dividend is what? Interim dividend is the dividend which the company declares or pays before the annual general meeting. It's just opposite to the final dividend. Means before conducting the annual general meeting, the dividend is paid and it is given before the end of the financial year. And here company has not yet prepared the financial statement, but it is paying the interim dividend. Okay, that dividend is called the interim dividend. Now let's understand the difference, the meaning we have discussed. So announcement here in case of interim, it is announced by the company's board of director. But in case of final dividend, it is recommended by the board, recommended at the board meeting. Means a board meeting will be held, and there it will be after the recommendation, the dividend, the member will announce how much dividend they should be given at the AGM, annual general meeting. Then time of declaration. Time of declaration, interim is done before the preparation of financial statement, but final dividend is declared after the preparation of financial statement. Then revocation. Interim dividend can be revoked with the consent of the shareholders. If a company wants to revoke its decision, they can after taking the consent from all the different shareholders, it can revoke the interim dividend. But in case of final dividend, it can't be revoked. The rate in case of interim dividend is generally less, but the rate in case of final dividend is comparatively more. Then in this point, it is declared only when the articles specifically permits the declaration. Means in the article of association, if it is mentioned, then only the company will announce the interim dividend. Otherwise there is no otherwise it will not announce the interim dividend, it will not pay the interim dividend. But in case of final dividend, there is not such requirement that specific provision should be there in the article or not. So these were the two basic types, other types of dividend. Now let's understand cash dividend. Cash dividend is the most popular form of dividend which are generally paid in cash. Then we have stock dividend. Stock dividend, here company is not paying the cash. Here company is issuing the additional shares. Suppose if a company has 100 shareholders has 10 shares, and it has to give it 100 rupees. This is just an example. Okay, a company has to give is just 20 rupees as a dividend. So instead of paying this in form of cash, it will issue one share to him. So when the share the dividend is paid by issuing of shares to the common shareholders. Common shareholders means what? Those who are the equity shareholders. Without the consideration of actions become stock dividend. So without here consideration, there will be no consideration, but to the equity shareholders the dividend will be provided. provided. So it is stock dividend. Third one is the property dividend. Property dividend is generally not practiced in India. It is a non-monetary dividend. This point is very much this word is very much important. Which dividend is non-monetary in nature? Property dividend is non-monetary in nature to its shareholders. The property dividend is not used in India. Property dividend basically means when you are giving the dividend in form of small asset. Okay. Now next we have a scrip dividend. Scrip dividend is what when a company doesn't have enough funds to pay. At that time the company may choose to pay the dividend in the form of a promissory note. When a company makes a promissory note and gives the and ensures the shareholders that when they will have the money in future they will pay the dividend at the latter date, that is called a scrip dividend. Okay, this essentially creates a note payable. It's a responsibility of the company. It becomes a responsibility of the company to pay the dividend in the future. Then we have a liquidating dividend. Liquidating dividend is about when the board of the company thinks of returning the original capital. Okay, means when the company is going to be insolvent, it is not much successful, not able to run its daily operations. At that time the firm closes itself. So at that time this type of dividend is used, that is called liquidating dividend. When the board of the company thinks of returning the original capital, here what will happen? Here will the returning whatever the shareholders have invested in the company. Okay, whatever the capital the shareholders have been invested, so they will be they return that capital. So that is why this dividend is called liquidating dividend. This happens due to the fact that company intends to wrap their business. Means when the company has to wrap its business, it uses liquidating dividend. Now here let's understand one by one. Take a quick glance. Cash dividend is what? It's a paid in cash per share. Then in case of bonus share shareholders receive additional shares. Then share repurchase. In case of share repurchase, it reduces the number of shares outstanding. Whatever the shares are outstanding, the company buyback of own share by the company. Then property dividend, here payment made in the form of assets. Scrip dividend, here a promissory note is given, and at the liquidating dividend return of the original capital. Here this we have also discussed. Then we have a special dividend. Special dividend is also referred to as an extra dividend. Okay, special dividend is about, it's an extra dividend which is non-recurring. It is not non-recurring. It can be only one time dividend distribution by the company to its shareholders. Okay. It may be given occasionally. Okay, not every. It will not be given every time. So and given to distributed by the company to its shareholders. It is separate from the regular cycle of dividends. Okay, whatever the regular cycle of dividend the company is paying, so it will be different, separate from it. It will be given only when the company has a abnormal profit. Generally, it's abnormal profit. Okay, if a company has a profit at a large amount, then it uses this special dividend. At last we have the composite dividend. Composite dividend yields means the equivalent dividend yield of the equity shareholders determined by the company. Here committee in its discretion based on the aggregate of the proportional dividend yield on the partners. Okay, this is a common stock. So whatever the partners of the company, they have their equity shareholders, they will calculate an yield. The company decides the rate and it is paid. Okay, this is the company. Now the next topic is what is dividend policy. Okay, dividend policy. Every company has to pay the dividend. Okay, every company, it's not necessary that all companies will pay, but many companies used to pay the dividend. Okay, let me many companies will pay to dividend. Now whether to give the dividend or not to give the dividend, then how much to give the dividend, when the company will make profit, then only they give, otherwise they not give. These things are used in what? In the dividend policy. A company's dividend policy dictates the amount of the dividends. Amount of dividends means here what you are deciding, here you are deciding the amount to be paid out to the paid by the company to the shareholders, and the frequency with which the dividends are paid. Okay, here you will decide what, here two things will be decided. One is the amount and another is the frequency, means either you are want to give on annual basis, on 6 or quarterly basis, whatever the frequency you want to keep, you will keep. Okay, when a company makes a profit, they need to make a decision. Okay, whenever a company means earns profit, it has to make a decision what to do it with. Either the company will reinvest it in its business to expand their business activities, or the company will distribute it to the shareholders. Okay, this thing is decided in through this dividend policy. They can either retain the profits in the company, retained earnings, or the balance sheet can be they can distribute the money to the shareholders. Okay, I just told you this in the previous sessions also. So the money distributed to the shareholders, that will be in the form of dividends. Okay, now we have the 4 dividend policies, which are the regular dividend policy, irregular dividend policy, stable dividend policy, and no dividend policy. Okay, well, we have the stable dividend policy. Stable dividend policy is the easiest and most commonly used. Okay, it is the easiest dividend policy and mostly used by many types of company. Okay, the goal of this policy is to call steadily and predictable dividend payout. Okay, here will be डिविडेंड जो है आपको मिलता रहेगा. ओके, डिविडेंड जो है आपको मिलता रहेगा, विच इज व्हाट इज मोस्ट इन्वेस्टर्स सीक. ओके, वेदर द अर्निंग्स आर अप और डाउन, in earning investor receive a dividend or not, they will get the dividend. Okay, they will get the dividend. So this is a stable dividend. Then another thing is next dividend is regular dividend. In this type of dividend policy, profits distributed to the shareholders is made at a usual rate at the regular time interval. Means here what will happen, rate and the time of payment, the time of paying the dividend will be pre-decided. Okay, will be pre-decided or will be fixed. Okay, this will be in case of the regular dividend policy. But here in case of the company, here they ensure you that you will get anyhow, भले वो कम मिले ज़्यादा मिले कुछ भी, बट आपको डिविडेंड जो है कंपनी की हालत कैसी भी हो, बट आपको डिविडेंड जो है वो मिलता रहेगा. Then third is the irregular dividend policy. Irregular dividend means it's just opposite to the regular dividend policy. If the company has the profits, and have the company has a good money, it will pay the dividend, or otherwise it will not pay the dividend. Okay, now let me tell you from here, in this type of dividend policy, the companies don't pay the dividend regularly. Okay, so in simple terms it's mentioned, the company don't pay the regularly due to the reasons. What are the reasons behind not paying the dividend regularly? Is the lack of liquidity, means company is unable to convert its current assets into cash. Then volatility means what, there are the fluctuations in the future earnings. Okay, then in fact the companies following the dividend strategies are exactly opposite in the nature to the companies with the regular dividend policy. Means whatever the यानी जो कंपनी की हालत है, जो कंपनी रेगुलर डिविडेंड दे रही है, उनकी जो हालत है जो इरेगुलर वालों की, वो इनके क्या जो रेगुलर दे रही है कंपनीज, उनके बिल्कुल अपोजिट रहेगी. They don't have a history of a stable earnings. Means here when the company will use the irregular dividend policy when they do not have the stable earnings. Okay, let's see the no dividend policy. In the no dividend, this type of dividend policy is the followed by the companies that require the capital for funding attractive future growth. Means here company is not giving any dividend. Okay, here company is not giving any dividend. They are using that funds in the form of retained earnings for the company's growth, or reinvesting the money to expand their business in the upcoming opportunity, and to support liquidity due to unfavorable working capital position. Means the reason behind the no dividend policy can be what? Their reinvestment in the money. One can be they want to reinvest in the working capital. Then here the working capital, their working capital position of the company is not good, and this type of dividend is not provided to the shareholders. Means here not a single rupee of dividend or any form of dividend will not be provided to the shareholders. Now the most important part begins, dividend theories. Okay, the classification of dividend theories are made into two categories. One are the relevant theories and another is the irrelevant theories. Dividend theories are what this many people have said, have given their different opinions on the dividend. Okay, on the dividend means here the motive of the dividend policy means what? The paying if you pay dividend, how the value of company get impacted. What will be the impact on the value of firm or the value of company when you will pay the dividend? This is stated by different models and different theories. So relevant theories are the theories what? When when you says that when you will pay the dividend, it will impact the value of the firm. But the irrelevant dividend theories said that there will be no impact on the value of the firm, even though you pay the dividend or you not pay the dividend. Okay, so there are two models which support the payment of dividend has an impact on value of firm. One is the Walter model and another is the Gordon model. And in third we have the irrelevant theories. In case of irrelevant theory, there is the Modigliani and Miller theory. Okay. Walter model. In case the first one is the Walter model. Walter model is given by what? Given by the James C. Walter. It's a relevant model of dividend. Okay, it's a relevant model of dividend. Dividend affects the value of the firm. Here, what he has said that the 2 points are very much important. Things are made concise from the exam point of view. First thing, you have to remember the name James C. Walter. Then dividend impacts the value of the firm, and it's a relevant model of dividend. If a dividend is paid, listen this careful statement, fourth point very carefully. So if the dividend is paid, the value of the firm will increase and vice versa. Means what he wants to say, अगर कंपनी डिविडेंड देगी तो कंपनी की क्या है? वैल्यू बढ़ेगी. मीन्स कंपनी की वैल्यू बढ़ेगी, और अगर कंपनी डिविडेंड नहीं देगी तो कंपनी की वैल्यू नहीं बढ़ेगी. मीन्स हियर इज अ डायरेक्ट रिलेशन. ओके, द डायरेक्ट कोरिलेशन बिटवीन द वैल्यू एंड द डिविडेंड. ओके, वैल्यू ऑफ फर्म एंड द डिविडेंड. नाउ इट्स हाईलाइट्स द रिलेशन बिटवीन R and K. R and K basically what? K is here what? K is here the cost of capital. Okay, K is what? K is the cost of capital, and R is what? R is the internal rate of return, which we have studied just today in our previous lecture, capital budgeting. Okay, IRR is the internal rate of return and K is the cost of capital. Okay, it is also called as share valuation model. Okay, here value is derived from this of dividend is derived on the basis of shares, availability of shares. So it is called the share valuation model. Now we have the assumptions. Here assumptions of all the models, all the all the theories, either it belong to dividend or either it belong to capital structure. All are important from your exam point of view. Now let's see what are the assumptions of Walter model. First is what? Here all all financing done by the retained earning. Retained earning, now what else can be said? Here only internal financing will be used. Okay, here company will use only done by the internal financing only. If you get this statement in your exam instead of retained earning, don't get confused. This is said by the Walter. Okay, here no external financing is used. Here no external financing is used. I am telling this, I am writing these statements in indirect way, so that you should know that कि भाई NTA वाले घुमाते कैसे, ये आपको समझ में आना चाहिए. Then business risk is constant. Okay, here business risk is constant, or if they write stable business risk, that is all right. Okay, business risk is constant. Then IRR and K both are constant. Internal rate of return and cost of capital both are constant. Now company has a definite or perpetual life or long life. Means company has about indefinite life. Company has what, it's a indefinite life and perpetual life, long life. Means company जो है वो चलते रहेगी, अनंत काल तक चलती रहेगी. Then earnings of the firm are either distributed or reinvested. Means if a company wants to expand its operation, or the future, or the company has not much money for further utilization, it will reinvest the profits in the it will not distribute the profits. Or if the company wants to whenever the company feels that it will distribute the profit, here no compulsion is made. Here both the options are open. Okay, the earning per share or the dividend per share does not change. Means the EPS or DPS cannot change, and there is no taxes. Here no taxes, or if you get the absence of taxes, don't get confused. Now this chart is very much important from your exam point of view. Now here type of firm. Here firms are Walter has classified the three firms. One is the growth firm, another is the decline firm, and third is the normal firm. Here condition is what? When the R is, means the internal rate of return is greater than the cost of capital, here there will be negative correlation. Here negative correlation, and that company will do not pay any dividend. Okay, here company will not pay any dividend, so here will be zero payout ratio. Then in case of decline firm, क्या हो रहा है यार इसको, क्यों नाटक कर रहे हैं? Just a second. Then decline firm is what? When the R is, when the internal rate of return is less than the cost of capital. Yeah, then it will be what? Then it will be positive in nature. That is there will be positive correlation, and company will pay out 100% payout. Now company has to expand its business, so it has haven't paid any dividend in first case, but companies is not earning much earning. So it is the motive behind this 100% payout. The motive behind this 100% payout is what? Try to understand. The company wants that the future investors can be attracted to invest in their company. This is the main motive of making this 100% payout. In case of normal firm, here there will be no correlation. R is equal to K. Here they will decide, optimum decision will be taken. Okay, whatever the company feels like to do, they will do. Now we have the formula for the Walter's model. First, Walter has given a mathematical model. Let's see. P is equal to D upon KE plus R by KE, E minus multiplied by E minus D whole divided by KE. Okay. Here P is what? P is the market price of share. D is the dividend per share. R is the rate of return on the firm's investment. K is the cost of equity, and E is the earning per share. Okay. So this is the Walter's model. Now this was all about the Walter's model. Now we are starting with the Gordon's dividend model. Okay, the Gordon dividend model was given by Meron J. Gordon, and it's suppose the doctrine that the dividends are relevant to the share prices. Okay, here dividends are relevant to the share prices. The dividend capitalization model is used to study the effects of the dividend policy on a stock price of the firm. Means the dividend here Walter also supports that the dividend will have an impact on the share, on the stock price of the firm. It is also called as the dividend discount model. Remember that this statement, this model has 4 names. Okay, the Gordon has 4 names. Gordon means you can remember this by person wearing a maroon t-shirt was sitting in a garden. So you can remember the complete name Maron J. Gordon. So Gordon model has 4 names. One is what? One is the, let me tell you orally, this pen is not working. So one is the dividend capitalization model, another one is the dividend discount model, third one is the bird in hand model or bird in hand theory, and the fourth one is the Gordon dividend model mentioned above. Okay, it is used to determine the intrinsic value of the stock at a given rate. Here, what the company wants to determine intrinsic value of the stock. Okay, this is also a relevant approach and it is called a bird in hand theory. Then we have some assumptions of the Gordon model. This is also important from your exam point of view. Gordon model has 9 different assumptions. The firm is what? Firm is in the equity, all equity financing. Okay, firm is all equity financing. Here no external financing is available. Means here no external financing is available. The internal rate of return R and K is constant. Okay, the internal rate of return is constant. The appropriate discount rate K of the firm remains constant. Okay, here K will also be constant. The firm has and its stream of earnings are perpetual. Means indirectly it's want to say the earlier point that firm has a perpetual life. And the corporate taxes do not exist. Here no existence of tax. The retention ratio B once decided upon it's constant. Okay, here thus the growth rate G is equal to BR. Means you want to remember this what? कितने आदमी थे? गब्बर. Okay, so Gabbar you have to remember growth is equal to BR. Then G is equal to BR. This is the growth rate. Okay, which is by which you can calculate the retention ratio, and it is constant forever when K is greater than cost is greater than BR is equal to growth. If this condition is not fulfilled, we cannot get a meaningful value for the share. Okay, means it tries to say that the cost of capital should be less than the BR. Now, why this theory is said as bird in hand or bird in hand approach? Okay, why? Because the investors are rational. Okay, they don't know, they don't want that their money should lose. They don't want to lose money. So whatever, even though they are getting the share at a premium, they will buy it. Why? Because they know that the company is ensuring them to pay the dividend. Okay, the investors use logic. They don't want to take any risk. So they are risk averse in nature. Here the future is uncertain. The main reason is behind the bird in hand what the future is uncertain, and the investor don't want to lose its money, and there nothing can be said about the company whether it will sustain or whether it will be and about the dividend, about the amount and at the timing. So this is the another reason, and investors prefer current dividend rather than the higher dividend. Means आज जो मिल रहा है वो ले लेंगे, चाहे कल को ज़्यादा भी मिलता है तो भी उनको कोई दिक्कत नहीं. Whatever they get in present, either it may be more or less, they will take that dividend only. Now Gordon has given the Gordon's formula. Let's see. P is equal to E1 1 minus B upon K minus BR. K minus BR. P is equal to what? Price per share. K is equal to cost of capital. E1 is equal to earning per share. E1 is equal. B is equal to retention ratio, and 1 minus B is the payout rate. And G is equal to what? B, which is the growth rate, and R is the internal rate of return. And here, to calculate the G, you should multiply this 1 minus B. Okay. So I hope here the summary of Gordon model is given. Gordon model now here also Gordon has given these three conditions, means relationships. When the R is greater than K, the price per share will decrease. Okay, here the price per share MPS will decrease. If the R is greater than K, R is less than K, here MPS will increase. Okay, here MPS will increase. Then R is equal to K. Here no change in the price per share. Okay, here no change in the price per share. Now what are the implication? Gordon's R is greater if the growth firm, in case of growth firm, will benefits the shareholders more if the company reinvest. Okay, why it is talking about benefit here? Company doesn't give dividend, but why the shareholders will be benefited? They will get benefit because their company is working on maximizing on the shareholders' wealth. So in case of growth firm, the shareholders are certain to get benefit. In case of normal firm, when the R is equal to K, it does not make any difference of the company's reinvestment dividend or the distributed to the shareholders. Here not much optimum, they will be optimum. And in case of decline firm, when the R is rate of return is less than cost of capital, here company will be benefited. Here also shareholders will be benefited if more the dividends are distributed rather than the reinvestment. Here more the shareholders will be here the shareholders will get more dividend. Now let's see the criticism. Gordon model was criticized due to the answer unrealistic. He has given the unrealistic assumptions like constant IRR, constant cost of capital, the absence of taxes, no external financing. So these were some uncertain unrealistic assumptions. That was this model was criticized. Now we have the one most important one of the Modigliani and Miller dividend theory. Okay, it was given by Franco Modigliani and James Miller. Then it's a irrelevancy. Okay, remember that it's a irrelevancy. Why? Because it doesn't the payment of dividend doesn't have any impact on the value of the firm. The dividend policy doesn't impact the value of firm. Value of firm, if it is affected by what? It is affected by what type of investment policy the company has. Then that will affect the investment policy may affect the value of the firm, or the investment do not check the dividend history. Here the investors will just, if they want to invest, they will just invest, but they will not check the history of the company, that whether the dividend is paid in past or not. Then the market price of share does not affected by dividend. Here MPS has no impact by if the company pays dividend or not. Then we have the assumptions of dividend theory. Dividend, here one important thing I forgot to tell. Here value of the firm can also be affected by EBIT. Okay, this can also happen. Sorry, this is not that much is supposition. Ignore that what I said. Assumptions of dividend theory. Dividend theory, let's see. First of all, perfect capital market. These assumptions are very much important from the exam point of view. It is asked. This is triple star, 5-star type question. Assumptions are these. Most important. Why? Because NTA has n number of times asked from this theory. Okay. So either it's capital structure or either it's dividend theory. Don't miss any of the assumptions of specifically given by the Modigliani and Miller. So first one is what perfect capital market exists. There is existence of perfect capital market. So there are some conditions. In the absence of any if the conditions are not there, there may be a scope that perfect capital market won't exist. First is what? The investors are rational in nature, then there will be no transaction cost, then the investors are free to access information, means they can take the information from anyone, no flotation cost will be there, or the transaction cost as we discussed. Then no large investor influence the market securities, means if a investor invest at his large amount in market securities, market will not have any impact. The second most assumption is the second assumption is what? There is absence of tax or no taxes. Okay, then investment policy is not that changed by the company. Here the company will have the same investment policy or it may not be changed. Then the investors are certain about the future MPS and the dividend, means investors are they know, they are God, that they know that what will be the market price and per share and the dividend in the future. So this is last assumption is totally under the 2, 3, 4 all these assumptions are actually unrealistic, but you should have to keep in mind. Now let's see the formula given by Modi ji, means Modiglani Miller. So P0 is equal to what? D1 plus P1 divided by 1 plus KE. Okay, whole divided by 1 plus KE. So P0 is what? P0 is the prevailing market price of the share. K0 KE is the what? KE is the cost of equity capital. D1 is the dividend to be received at the end of the period 1, and P1 is the market price of the share at the end of the year 1. Okay, now we have the residual approach of the dividend by the Ezra Solomon. Okay, now Ezra Solomon has also given an approach of residual dividend policy. Let's understand. According to Ezra Solomon, the dividend policy of a dividend is a residual decision. Okay, it's a residual decision means what? And the dividend is passive residual, means dividend जो है वो बचा कुछ है. Dividend policy is basically a financing decisions which is primarily conditioned by the available investment opportunity. Means here what it wants to say that first of all the company will check in the residual dividend policy. Residual dividend approach of Ezra Solomon, he has stated that the company will see that whether there are investment opportunities for its future growth are available or not. After investing, either it may invest the whole money, or if any amount remains after investing, from that amount they will give the dividend. Investors are indifferent between the dividends and the capital gains, means here investors are, the nature of investors are what? Are the investors between the capital gains and the dividend. Their principal desire is to earn higher return on the capital. Here investors want to earn higher return on their capital anyhow, either it can be through reinvestment or it can be through getting the dividend. Okay, if a firm has if a firm has an array of investment opportunity promising higher return, तो कंपनी क्या बोलेगी भाई कि हम तुमको फ्यूचर में अच्छा रिटर्न देंगे, तो यहाँ पे स्टॉक कंपनी जो है अपना पैसा दे विल प्लग बैक द प्रॉफिट एंड मोर रिटेन्ड अर्निंग्स will be used as a finance to invest in the future opportunities or in the future growth, and later on the company will generate high earnings and it will give profit to the it will give dividend to the company. Means here try to understand, here company is saying from both the side. If the company has the means here first thing is what? First thing in the Ezra Solomon the dividend approach is what? If the company has some amount after investing will remain, they will pay the dividend, otherwise not. Okay, here second point, companies investors are rational in nature. They want that they are indifferent between not rational, they are indifferent between the dividends and the capital gains. Okay, and they want to they want higher return anyhow. Okay, on their the capital which they have is invested. If the companies, if the investment opportunities are promising higher rate of return than cost of capital, then company will use it for the future growth. Otherwise, if the expected rate of return is potential project is likely to be less, means if the R is less than the K, then the company will at least least interested in reinvestment, they will pay the dividend. Okay, so this was said in the now this is the Linter model. The Linter model is what? It's an economic formula. It's an economic formula for determining an optimal corporate dividend policy. Here, Linter model is basically used for the determining the corporate dividend policy. It was proposed by 1956 for the former Harvard Business School professor John Linter and focused on two more notions. Here two notions he has given. First, the company's target payout ratio, and second one, the speed with which the current dividends adjust the target payout. Okay, for now the Linter model is an economic formula for determining the optimal corporate dividend policy. It has promised, the same thing is mentioned, so this is the till here it is same. Then through the originally descriptive model intended to explain how the firms observe to set the dividends, the model has also been used to prescription model of how the firm should set dividend policy. Means it has said that how the company should pay the dividend or said they make their dividend policy. Now the three main approaches the corporate dividend policy follows. One is the residual approach, there is the stability approach, and third is the hybrid, which includes both the residual and the stability approach. This model is not much important from your exam point of view. The earlier three models were the important, but still I have bought, so I will explain you, don't worry. So in the residual approach, the dividend payments come out of the residual or leftover equity only after the specific projected capital requirements are met. The company will pay the dividend. Then the stability, here board often sets quarterly. Here dividends will be paid quarterly, yearly earnings. Some parts will be. It reduces the uncertainty for the customers and provides them with a steady source of income. Here dividend is provided as a steady source of income in a stability approach. And in the hybrid approach, the company uses the combination of both the residual and